How are you? And today is the special guest, Michael Leavy, head of Fuzz on the Lens. And well, I'll let him do his own introduction. How are you, Michael?
Hey, how you doing, Gabe? Honored to be on the show tonight,
Yeah,
and
honor to have you on.
looking forward to chatting with you. It's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Well, we hung out recently at Monster Mania for the first time in 4 years
Yeah,
since the AA premiere, or AKA Abnormal Attraction premiere, not to or screening, not to give anybody the wrong idea. So let's, you know what? Let's start with that, because that's where, I mean, I knew you before that, but that's where we really got to know each other and hang out, and where I really got to know a lot of your team more. Um, like more, we got to hang out more. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about what inspired. I'm just curious about it. Well, tell us about Fuzz on the Lens as well, but Abnormal Attraction, because I know that was a really fun movie, and it was almost like a sexual approach to Bright. Netflix's Bright, I will say it that way. But I'll let you give it more of a give you more of a give ask you to please give us the breakdown.
sure. The funny thing is Abnormal Attraction actually came about at the New York Horror Film Festival before the screening of it at the New York Horror Film Festival. The idea actually was birthed at the New York Horror Film Festival, where I was with my friends and my business partners, and we were looking around and seeing a lot of people dressed up in different costumes, and we kind of started talking about Halloween and how there's something attractive that you see a sexy girl in like a vampire costume, right? You see the guy zombie, and there's just something there that's just sexy about it. And we started making a joke like, it's weird, and we were saying, like, what if there was a support group for people who find these kind of off-putting but yet interesting characters. If there was a support group for people who find this kind of an obsession, an attraction.
Yeah,
So we kind of started spitballing, and it kind of turned into a
brainstorming.
joke. And it was like, oh, like an AA meeting, and it's not Alcoholics Anonymous. It's an abnormal attraction meeting. And that's really how a lot of our, ideas and concepts kind of happen. It's kind of like us just kind of riffing off each other, and, making jokes or making suggestions and comments based on real life scenarios that we're going through. And
Hmm.
so that's really where the idea kind of birthed and kind of came from. And originally, it was actually going to be a short film, and we were working on the movie as a producers on Fear Clinic.
Right.
And yeah, there was a couple of people there, Aaron Drain and Robert England, and we kind of were pitching to them the idea, and they really liked it, and they thought it was interesting and cool. And they says, why are you going to waste your time with this really cool concept of making just a short film? Why don't you go all in if you really believe in it? It sounds like a really fun, great idea.
Robert was one of the ones who said that to
Yeah,
you.
Robert was one of the ones. Yeah, and they says, why don't you make it a feature?
Right.
And really go for the gold. So we kind of took a step back and said, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, let's kind of do that. But we already had a short film written, and we didn't want to lose the essence of what we had there in the story. And that's
Mhm.
kind of how it became an anthology kind of
Right.
piece,
I
where
like that. It was like a Pulp Fiction approach. It was
yeah,
very.
we
It
wanted to do
was.
something different, and again, and keep that initial short that we had written intact. So we kind of came up with that three parallel storylines, and where the whole thing kind of culminates at the end. So it was a really interesting process to make that film. But again, it was a fun, bizarro movie, and it was actually before Netflix's Bright came out.
Yeah. No, I've been telling.
Um,
I told people that when I told
yeah,
them about it.
and when we saw that, we're like, oh wow! So we actually tapped into something that people are interested in, and we were a little bit ahead of the curve there. So.
Yeah, and so you mentioned at the Q&A at the premiere that Bruce Davidson's role originally was going to be given to Robert Englund.
Yeah, initially we were talking to Robert about, again, he was one of the people that we had showed the original script to, and Robert was very supportive and very interested in it. And, he kind of helped us get it to a certain point. But obviously, the way these things go sometimes is scheduling conflicts and, other things like that. It just wasn't able to happen when we wanted to make the film. But you know what? I always say that things happen for a reason. And
Yeah.
that reason, really, honestly, I can't imagine anyone else in the world than Bruce Davison playing Dr. Cole. He really fell into our lap, and he was absolutely brilliant in the part. And I'm totally happy that it ended up being him. And
Yeah,
like
you
I
said
said,
his he did an even better job than
yeah, then
Robert.
right. It was, I mean, it's totally two different roles, right? Robert
Right.
played it one way, and Bruce another
But in
way.
terms
And
of the character.
Right,
character. Yeah,
and again, both would have been great and unique, but, Bruce really brought something
yeah.
to the role that I think wasn't initially there as written, and it just made it so relatable and so likable. Not to say Robert wouldn't have done a great job, and
No, of course.
obviously
Yeah,
he
yeah.
would have, but Bruce just really knocked it out of the park, and I think really tapped into, what we were trying to convey through looking through the lines there and in between the lines.
But also, if you look at it, Bruce Davidson's portrayal of Dr. Cole, he had like almost like not an innocence to him, but like a broken man who's like sad but trying to help people.
Yeah.
It's hard to see Robert England in like an emotionally distraught, and it's hard to see him in that role. He's
Yeah,
usually the one that causes
Robert's always, like, in control, and he's very
he's
vindictive.
always causing the emotional
Right, and yeah,
distress as opposed to having it himself.
right, and Bruce really brought that level of realism in the sense of, like, you feel for this doctor and you realize,
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god," he's trying to help people, yet he has his own underlying problems,
Yeah.
and, he just again, he just brought this level of just grounded, right? He brought this groundedness,
He's also authentic in terms of he's
very
like a
authentic.
broken man
Yeah.
who seems like he's like going to work, but he has of his own problems.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
And
really
he
happy with
really
and we became really I didn't know Bruce before working with him on Abnormal Attraction, and we became really great friends, and, I love to work with him again and put him in a bunch of stuff. We've talked back and forth through the years about getting together again. He's just a phenomenal actor. I actually am in the middle of watching him in Ozark now, and
Oh,
he's
he's
just
an Ozark.
yeah,
I
he's good
actually
in
have been
everything
curious to watch it.
everything he does. He just is so good,
Even
and he's so
X-Men,
natural.
that's
Yeah.
how did you get him for the role?
He was actually so we had ended up getting Malcolm McDowell a part of the project at an early stage in the game, and Malcolm is repped by a friend of mine now, Chris Rowe, and so we got in touch with Chris through a few mutual friends. One being Bart Mastronardi, who was a part of the New York
Oh,
Horror Film Festival.
Chris Rose, the agent from like that who he represents him at the horror conventions,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
I recognize. Yeah, I know the name. Yeah.
and he does film actually with him now and television stuff as well. He also represents Eileen Dietz, who's a friend of mine. If anybody knows her from The Exorcist, she's a mutual friend of ours. She's in the New York Horror Film Festival a lot. She's all over the place. Great woman, great lady, and so we were friends with Eileen. We were friends with Bart, and we were looking for someone to play the role of the boogeyman, and we wanted an English actor, someone with Malcolm's kind of chops. And so we ended up getting Malcolm McDowell, and through that, when we were trying to find the role of Dr. Cole, because again, timing wasn't going to happen with Robert, he had pitched Bruce Davison to us. And again, I wasn't too familiar with his work at first, I thought. And then I
Right.
realized, oh my God, he's in like everything, and he's great. He's actually in a documentary like the face from everything, but you don't know his name.
Really.
And
Sounds like a documentary that would exist.
yeah, yeah. So I immediately fell in love with him and his work, and I says, yeah, he's the guy I want. So we pursued him heavily, and luckily it worked out with timing, and we were just able to get him.
I used to mix him up with Barry Bostwick. I don't know why. I guess like the tall, recognizable man with the gray hair. He just
Right,
I don't know him and Barry Bostwick. I used to mix them up, and
right.
I met Barry Bostwick, but I didn't meet Bruce yet. Um, but also, who else? Gilbert Gottfried, God
Yes,
rest his
the late
soul, may he
Gilbert
rest in
Godfrey. We
peace.
got to work with Gilbert,
Yeah,
who's in it. Tyler Maine from Halloween and
and also X Men.
well, yes, and Leslie Easterbrook from Police Academy. She plays Madame Hildy in the film. We have Vic DiBattero, who is the Bread and Milk infamous YouTube viral sensation comedian. He's involved in the project. We have a really, really amazing cast. Tom Hanks's brother Jim, who's a really, really great
Right.
actor as well. Michael Buscemi, Steve Buscemi's brother. So we were really fortunate to get a talented cast of characters in this film, and all of them really deliver on each
Yeah.
performance. And I was very, very happy with how that movie turned out. It's not a movie for everyone, I'll tell you that
No.
right
Yeah,
now.
but it's fun. It's
But it
fun.
is. It's a fun movie, and I promise you, take a shot every time you hear a dick joke, and you'll be drunk by the end of it.
Or yeah. There were some pretty there were I gotta tell you, as much, and of course you got Melanie Iglesias, who can forget that, but as much as every guy loves Melanie Iglesias, Finbar is still my favorite part of that film.
Yes,
Your brother is like
here's a Finbar bobble.
Oh my god, you gotta be kidding me.
This was a gift.
That is you're gonna get me
I believe
canceled.
I haven't seen it yet. That's what
Oh,
you're in for.
I hope Jason saw it. Your brother is like an Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey like character. He's like he plays all those different like
Yeah.
character, but he also you had a little Nicky reference in there. Like
Yes, we
it's not
did.
true.
Yep,
That
we
was like
did.
I'm like, what movie was that from? What was that? Which
Yeah,
Adam Sandler?
we took a lot of stuff from our
It
childhood
was
and things
good.
that
Yeah.
made us fall in love with films and tried to pay homage to it and little Easter eggs. And yeah, Jason kind of grew up from, I mean, we both did from improv and comedy and the school of, Jim Carrey and Robin Williams and Adam
Mhm.
Sandler and stuff. So, Jason is definitely in that line of thinking. So he really knocked it out of the park with Finbar and really embodied that character, like you said, like an Eddie Murphy or someone who just plays these multiple kind of characters. And,
Yes. Yes.
is that him? I don't know.
Well, actually, it's funny. I was watching The Dark Offerings recently. And I'm like, wait, is that Jason? And then he says something about Staten Island. Like, yep, that's Jason. But
Yeah.
like, it's like totally Jason pulling a Jason move on a Jason style character, even if it's for somebody's other script. And also, I gotta say, the most not memorable but unforgettable part of that film is you trying to do it a British accent as the as a Fright Night.
Yeah, Marcus Slaybind was like, we want to pay tribute to Peter Vincent and Fright Night, and make you Peter Vincent Jr. And so he was like, yeah, just go for that. And it was interesting. That whole process was very interesting because it was during the COVID pandemic, right? And
Right.
it was all shot basically like this, like through different,
Zoom.
apps like Zoom and other stuff.
And he really pulled it off. You guys really
All
pulled it off.
virtual, yeah, and we kind of shot it like a play, where
Yeah.
it was, you have to shoot it straight through 'em, but we were recording our own stuff, we were lighting our own scenes, doing our own stuff.
Special
My
effects.
my wife was, like, flicking the lights on and off when I'm looking around the room, and it was a really fun, unique experience that we were still able to create, and make something during a really hard time where we weren't allowed to
Yeah.
do anything.
I should have asked Marcus, how long did that I mean, the filming, the whole digital recording of that, the production of that take?
I think it was so they ran it, I think 3 full times they ran the whole movie, different maybe 3 days or something, but it was weeks of prep,
Right, right.
and then it was months with the script, and then it was months of editing, but to shoot it, he'd be a better,
Yeah,
because
I've been meaning to ask him. I
because
forgot,
for
can't believe I
yeah,
forgot
for
to
me,
ask him.
I was again, my role wasn't too crazy. I think I
Right.
shot 2 or 3 days myself, I shot,
Yeah.
but I was only my section. I was there for
Right.
the rehearsals and
Mhm.
stuff to see how it was all gonna come together and to kinda get to know everyone, but my shooting part was in and out. But they did a really great job of, shooting this segment on, day 1, and they would run it maybe the first 20 minutes, and they would run it like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8
Right.
times. But they would do it with, everyone like this, where it was acting like a play, and then they would do just pieces of just your lines too, just in case they need to get something clean. So it was quite a unique experience.
It was almost like they're filming a production, like, they focus on one person with the camera, like, and get all those record and then
Exactly.
focus on one as opposed to, having it all simultaneously. Um, what's it called? I wanna ask you about a little bit of tell us a bit about how you came up with when you and was it you and your brother put together Fuzz on the Lens Productions?
Yeah.
And
So
when that was?
yeah. So it was actually me, my brother, and our business partner Steve Delasala,
Right, Steve. Yeah,
and
yeah.
we were making movies. Me and my brother were making movies ever since we were kids, and really young age. Like I remember taking my mom's camcorder and running around. But at that time, we were calling ourselves Leavy Entertainment, and we were just making Back to the Future spin-offs and Leprechaun spin-offs and Halloween spin-offs and anything we could think of.
You might have a chance to do Leprechaun soon if
I
who
saw
knows?
it. I know. I put my hat
Bid in?
on social media. So
You
we'll
gotta
see.
put a bid in.
I know.
Darren
I got to find out how to do that.
Saw director Darren Bousman also has
I
been
saw.
dying.
I did see
You
that.
saw, yeah.
I did. I see. Unintended. Yeah, so we were doing little things like that, and then in high school we linked up with Steve Delasala, and we were making stuff for our local high school television studio, and from there went to college and again continued, and then we says, if we're going to keep doing this, we got to call ourselves something, and we couldn't come up with a name, but for some reason there was a running joke when we shot a film at one point a friend of mine was holding the camera, and it's still recording, and we still have the footage where he turns, he goes, "There's a fuzz in the lens. Cut, we got to stop." And he's blowing on the lens, and we're all looking in the lens like a bunch of schmucks, and we can't see, and we're cleaning off, and we're looking at our fingers, and we're taking our shirts, and we're trying to get the fuzz off. And this is literally going on for about 20 minutes.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
We're going for 20 minutes and can't get this damn fuzz off. Lo and behold, it was a smudge on the viewfinder. Turn it around. And so it became an ongoing joke every time we shot something. Make sure you look for that fuzz on the lens. Is there a fuzz on the lens? So when it came time to name the company, it kind of just fell into place. It's like, hey, we got to be Fuzz on the Lens Productions. And officially we formed it. Yeah, we officially started calling ourselves that in 2010, and I think we formed the LLC in 2013.
That's great. Penance Lane was one of the Fuzz on Lens Productions right?
Yeah. So Penance Lane, we were in association with Main Entertainment, which is Tyler Main and Renee Geerling's production company. And we had met Tyler and Renee at the Hot Springs Horror Film Festival run by Tamara Glynn from Halloween 5 down
Tamara,
down in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We were their official production company, and we shot a lot of promo videos for them, and we got really close with Tamara and Bill, who were running the festival at the time. And so we met Tyler and Renee. We got Tyler and Renee to be in Abnormal Attraction, and they really liked the way that we were working. They liked our attitude. They liked how we were able to take something low budget, make it look high budget, the whole thing. And you know, we just kind of connected and clicked. So they had asked us to come on as producers with them on Penance Lane, this movie that they were developing, Penance Lane, that was actually a few years in the making. They couldn't kind of get it off the ground, and they were running a few Indiegogo campaigns, and, you know,
was that running simultaneously with Compound Fracture, or around the same time?
Right after. It was right after.
Compound
Fracture first, and then this was after.
Right.
And so they said, you know, you guys are very experienced with, you know, getting projects off the ground in a low budget fashion, but making it of quality work. Let's collaborate on this. So we ended up going down to Georgia for a couple of months. Shot Penance Lane. It was a very, you know, rigorous schedule. It was a lot of work, but we had a lot of fun. And I was cast as Tony, who's Scout Taylor Compton's abusive boyfriend. That was fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we got to meet Danny Roebuck, who became
Daniel. Yeah.
Now. Yeah. And
you and your Rob Zombie reunions in your films.
Right. And you know, it's funny. It's I don't want, I mean, I like Rob Zombie, you know, but I'm not like a huge Rob Zombie fan.
Right.
I've never grown up saying, yeah.
But just about every one of your films has like a Rob Zombie reunion.
Rob Zombie people. I know.
Yeah.
I've never met Rob. So it's quite interesting, the correlation there. So one day we have to get together. But it's funny that Rob is actually a huge Munsters fan, and now he's making the Munsters movie, and Daniel Roebuck is starring as one of my favorite Munsters, Grandpa Munster. So
I think that's everybody's favorite Munster.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm excited for that, and I'm excited for Danny. And, you know, yeah, I think at some point our paths have to cross, because we keep using the same people, or I keep using his people.
Well, can I tell you something? Tyler is one of the nicest guys in the world. And also, he plays the nicest Cyclops. In Abnormal Attraction, he plays the nicest Cyclops in cinematic history. I've never seen a Cyclops as sensitive and gentle. And, you know, I think I almost cried at certain scenes regarding him. But no, but
I'm very proud of him in that film. And you know, I think Bernie, really, which is the name of the Cyclops, for anybody listening and hasn't seen it yet, really shows Tyler Maine's rage as an actor. You know, we're so used to seeing him as the brute force, as the, you know, the guy that's, you know, does a lot of stunts, or Michael Myers, he's wearing the mask, he's in a ton of makeup.
Sabretooth and X-Men.
And all of that. And this film, Abnormal Attraction, he really gets to shine. And I'm proud of that. We really show a different side of Tyler, and you get to see that range, and that he is a, you know, a really, really talented man.
He was was it a wrestler before he was an actor?
Yep. He started off as a wrestler. That's why in Penance Lane there's, you know, so many wrestlers, Booker T and, you know, Diamond Dallas Page. So that's the reason why they're all his old buddies from the wrestling days that came down to play with us.
Right. Was that a prosthetic eye? Because that looked like or was it that computerized? Because it
was a mixture of both. Yeah, I'm from the school of thought, which is where you try to go as practical as you can, and then you add that little CG touch
where you need to
pull it together when you need to. Exactly. You know, if you kind of overdo CG, It kind of dates
Yeah.
itself, just like if you kind of just do practical, sometimes they both could look a little wonky and cheesy. So it
Yeah.
was both. He had worn a prosthetic eyepiece,
Right.
and which he did not like at all. I think he said it was the toughest piece he's ever worn, which I'm happy about that. It was cool to have something that was
You challenged him.
yes, and he said that every day made sure that we knew it, because again, you're looking through this little peephole here,
Yeah.
and you can't take it off. So it was definitely difficult. But yeah, he said that was the toughest piece he wore, and then what we did was we animated it in post through
In post,
CGI and
yeah.
made it blink and look left and right. But yeah,
If any consolation, it looked. That's why, like, I asked because it looked so much like a practical just eye. Like, they have like the. It just looked like an like one of those. You have like a white piece, but you have a magnetic
yeah,
eyeball that can move. That's what it looked like. So the CG was barely noticeable. That's why I asked. It looked
yeah, yeah,
straight up
yeah.
practical.
Yeah, we did a
Yeah.
good job with that, and it was and I'm very pleased with how Bernie came out. And again, I tell a lot of people because Abnormal Attraction is very niche film.
Yeah.
People who see it really do love it, unless they don't get it, which those people there too. But
There's
for the
also a
most
lot of
part,
inside jokes.
there are, and you have to be a fan of the genre to really get it, and
Yeah.
kind of know your history. But the people who see it, people really like it. It's tough for a lot of people to see it, but those who do love it. And so for Tyler's sake, especially, I'd love for more people to see it just for his performance, and of course for Jason's performance as Finbar.
But also but also the characters. Like you have Frank Stein as opposed to Frankenstein. You got the Sandman, but then like even got well, you got Leslie Easterbrook, who's also Rob Zombie in
Yep.
Rob Zombie's Halloween. But also you have Malcolm McDowell as the Boogeyman. You have Gilbert Gottfried as an orc hog. You have Ari Barkin, our buddy Ari Barkin, as some Green Goblin type of. And like when he says "fuck off," like he says it with a Brooklyn accent, and
Yeah.
Ari's from Brooklyn. It's just
Yeah.
like you hear it in his voice.
Yeah.
But even you look at Steve Buscemi's brother, and it's Steve Buscemi. It looks like Steve Buscemi.
Yeah.
Like it's like somebody. I was watching. Like, is that Steve Buscemi? They look alike. So yeah, but also yeah,
If
the
you close your
unique.
eyes listening to Frank Stein, our Jewish Frankenstein, you could hear Woody from Toy Story because it's Tom Hanks's brother, and they literally
Right.
and Jim actually does all the voices of Woody for the toys that you can buy of the Woody dolls that you buy in the store, Toys R Us or on Amazon now or wherever
Wow.
anybody buys toys, and also for the video games like Kingdom Hearts and all of that stuff. So he actually voices Woody for those things. Tom doesn't do them. Jim does. Yeah.
So now you got to do the sequel to Abnormal Attraction, Sex Toy Story.
Right.
What's it called? So you also you worked with Robert on Fear Clinic, but you weren't just associate producer. You also played the young version of him, the young Andover, not in the film but the web series. Or did you tell me that they shot you for had you in the film, but they didn't? Robert.
Yeah, yeah. So I shot for the film and what happened was we did a whole sequence. The whole movie was going to open up with a young Andover, Dr. Andover, Peter Andover, and he's coming up with the Fear Clinic, and he's putting everything together, and he's drawing, how it's going to work. And I did all of that stuff out in Glendale, out in LA, California, and sadly, when it was in Robert Hall's cut, and what happened was when it got to the powers that be, the studios, they felt that the opening was, too much was being told, and they kind of wanted a mystery to who is this Dr. Andover, where did this Fear Clinic come
So
from?
they did just the narration by Robert.
The narration by Robert, but originally Robert's narration was over my footage.
Really? So
Yeah.
it's the same narration?
Same narrate, well,
same
slightly
dialogue.
tweaked,
Similar dialogue.
similar dialogue,
Right.
but it was over my stuff. And Robert Hall, sadly, rest in peace, he passed
Yeah.
away recently, and he was actually
Last summer.
working on
He was a
getting
good
me.
friend.
Yeah,
Very good
great guy, and we were
Great,
talking a
amazing.
lot recently, and he was actually working on getting me the footage before he passed away, and so I don't know where to track that down now. So if anybody's out there knows where it is, contact me, please. But yeah,
Yeah.
he was trying to get that for me so I can have the footage with Robert Englund's narration, but never was able to happen.
Yeah, Robert, may he rest in peace, was a selfless soul. He was just a real human being, not just a filmmaker. He's just he showed. I just want to do a little thing to Robert because you know him, I know him. He was such a he struggled with some stuff, but he was such a. My last time hanging out with him was he just showed a very kind, understanding, compassionate, selfless. We spent a lot of time talking, and it was very, very touching. He was a very good guy,
Yes, he was.
and
I
it
have
caught me very off guard when he
Yeah, it did
passed
me and
away.
me too. I was stunned because he was doing so well, and
Yeah,
sadly these things happen. And I actually have a few voicemails and things from Rob still. That
you can't delete. Yeah,
no, no, not at
I
all.
know. I know. Yeah, I can understand that. And I wonder if anybody will ever pick up the torch for Late to Rest 3. Who
I know
knows?
they're working on it. I
They
know.
were in the middle of the whole crowdfunding. Yeah. Um, but yeah, may he rest in peace. But I do want. Well, first of all, I did have here. I want to bring up because while you're talking about abnormal attraction, I want to bring up the poster. I know you have a few posters. This is still my favorite poster. However,
The
the one
original.
highlighting, yeah, the one highlighting Melanie Iglesias with all the highlighted critiques, was great. Um, and oh wait, here's you with Robert.
Yeah.
I just love that photo with the middle finger. Um, what's it called? But you also okay, so you are now in the middle of post production, I think, with Damien Leone's Terrifier 2. What was your role in that? Tell everybody.
Sure. Yeah. So just to backtrack a little bit, the first
Yes.
the first Terrifier
Oh
film.
yeah. Where I was gonna go back, but yeah, go ahead.
You want me to stay forward, or you want to go
Well,
back?
no, I was going non-linear, but let's you know what, let's start with the first. This is let me bring up a quick. Oh, I didn't bring up the post. It's fine. Yeah, just bring up. Oh well, you bring it up. I have a shot of you from Terrifier 1. I'm gonna
Okay.
bring up once you get into it.
Cool. So yeah, so we got involved with that project Terrifier with Phil Falcone, was the executive producer of the original Terrifier. We knew a mutual friend, and so Phil brought us on board with the project. And originally, we were brought on board to help kind of produce and equipment, and help them with behind the scenes kind of stuff, and shooting kind of stuff and whatever. And then Phil had said, we're looking for someone to play the role of these two cops that come in at the end of the film. So he says, can you get yourself on tape? I want to show the director. And this is before I knew Damien. I want to show Damien, you guys, and I think you guys would be great. So myself and Steve De La Sala auditioned for that role of the two police officers. We got the part. And then about a couple of weeks later, I get a call from Damien, and Damien says, hey, Mike, I have another role I think would be better for you. And I think you'd like it more. He goes, it's actually an exterminator. It's a bigger role. He goes, the only catch is you won't last to be in the sequel. He goes, you're going to, spoiler alert, you're going to die. So I says, oh, really? He says, yeah. He goes, but we get to decapitate you, and it'll be really fun and really cool. So I says, what the heck? If you're going to be in a horror movie, you have to die, right? Or else are you really in a horror movie? So I says, yeah. So when that happened, I says, well, my brother has similar acting abilities to me. We're kind of very similar in style. If you like what I did as the cop, try him out to take my place as the cop. And then it'll be cool. The three of us are all involved. So he says, yeah, have Jason send me over a tape. So he did, and he loved it, and Jason got the role. So that's how we kind of got involved with the original one, where I played Will the Exterminator. Actually, right here is my face that was made from the mold in the
The
cast.
mold, yeah, the original mold.
It just doesn't have the facial hair on it that's in the
Right.
film. But
Yeah.
that's from when I got decapitated from the movie. And then I got this. If I can grab it. I got this as a gift here. A little.
Hold on, hold that up. And I'm gonna just
There
show
it is.
everybody. That's it. And this
Boom.
is boom, 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 double take.
So,
And somebody, you were saying like that decapitation was just like one of the more like it was like almost like very realistic because the whole almost like showing the whole thing happen. It was like
yeah, I think it's been up there, like ranked on some of those shows or those YouTube videos as like one of the most visual, decapitations that you get to see everything happen piece by piece, and it's so long too. And that's just Damien's gruesome style of filmmaking.
Like what he did to Catherine, or what David did to Catherine. That was
David was just a pawn. Damien did it. He's the one who wrote it.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Sick bastard. But
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
So from there, to answer your real question, was we became very close, all of us, with Damien and George Stuber, who's the cinematographer, and Phil, and we became like a really great family unit. And from there, we were brought on Terrifier 2 in a more, in a more hands-on, in a much bigger way,
Yeah,
as a
behind
production
the
team.
scenes. Yeah.
And yeah, and I was the assistant director. I was a co-producer, and Jason and Steve were also producers. And we all really, really worked very hard on that. And I can't wait for everybody to see Terrifier 2. It definitely is a much bigger film, and it definitely blows Terrifier 1, in my opinion, out of the water, which pains me to say because I'm in the first one. But
Hold on one sec. Excuse me. I'm gonna bring up the poster. Here we go. There's our heroine and the iconic Art the Clown. Uh, sorry, I just like I met Damien for the first time last August, and we instantly clicked as he loved my puns. No, but and actually it was a last minute thing. I think him and Lauren were there by chance, and then and first met David at Texas Frightmare last year with Damien, and then I went to Lloyd Kaufman's recent Shakespeare Shitstorm premiere, and David was there. I had no idea it was going to be. I didn't even know Damien's from Long Island too. Staten Island, sorry, Staten Island too. You guys are all Staten Island, but
yeah,
also
isn't that crazy?
yeah, and also I want to bring up you guys were on the news about regarding your house on Halloween. Can you tell everybody a little bit about that?
Yes. So back when we were younger, myself and my brother and my grandfather and my mother, we used to decorate elaborately for Halloween. And my grandfather passed away. We decided, because my mom is the one who got us into horror films, by the way, and we used to watch horror movies with my mother and my grandfather as well. And so every year we would kind of make this a big event and a big thing, and kind of start, adding new characters. And then kind of one thing led to another. When my grandfather passed, we decided to continue doing this. And me and my brother just started adding and adding and adding and adding and adding to the collection. And, we really do it a lot just to kind of keep the tradition and keep Halloween alive. And the kids really, really love it. And they come down and they see, I mean, these are like movie life-size, statues and busts and things. And we really go all out. And it's kind of like a little haunted house attraction that is a staple in our community now. And I'm very proud of what we have done with me and my brother, and just what it does for the community. And we have a really, really great time, especially on Halloween when everybody comes around. It's an event.
Yeah, I saw on TV the kids, everybody, they just love it. It's like
Yeah.
scary, but it's fun. It's
Yeah,
not
we make
necessarily
it
just
very
about scaring
interactive.
people.
And yeah, and the kids come by and we give them candy. And when the adults, if they're walking and they're close, we give them a beer. And everybody has a good time at the Leavy household on Halloween.
That's great. Or Halloween, because
Right.
yeah. So, but I do want to bring up, you guys are working on a really exciting horror movie with a lot of horror icons, scream queens and slashers alike, or a little bit of both, because some of them are scream queens and slashers. So please tell us a little bit about. Hold on a second. Well, tell us a little bit about Stream.
Sure.
Stream, not Scream. Everybody, Stream.
Stream.
Just-
And that was the one thing with the name that I was always afraid of. I said, it's very close to Scream. And I hope people can differentiate and understand, and it could be its own thing. And so far it is. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, stream, as in like what we're doing now. We are streaming. And this kind of concept came about after we shot Penance Lane, believe it or not. So back in long time now, maybe 2015, 2016, in that area timeline, we kind of came up with this idea of all these horror films, right? They kind of tap into our safe spaces. And you have, Jaws did it with A Day at the Beach, and Halloween did it with, babysitting in the neighborhood. Nightmare on Elm Street did it with Our Dreams. Friday the 13th did it with the camp.
Camps, yeah.
Psycho did it with a shower. So it's like horror movies really exploit our safe spaces. And we were saying, what is a safe space now that really hasn't been exploited much yet because it's so new? What is something that everyone feels safe in doing, yet they still could question and say, well, there's some kind of unknown there? And what we kept coming back to was the internet. And, that's kind of the basis of Stream. And there's a lot of great things that we were able to do, and different storylines and concepts and things that we're creating our first feature film with this, but we're trying to build also a franchise and a stream universe. We'll see where it goes. But basically, what the film is about is a string of murders take place, and they are streamed, live and broadcasted over the dark web. And, but we also, even though it's very technologically based, the film also deals with kind of a retro aspect of having slashers involved. There's a few, it's not just all internet. There's like some, old school 80s style slashery stuff in it. And I don't want to give too much away, but the film stars, Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator, Danielle Harris from Halloween and Hatchet, Dee Wallace from E.T., Cujo, Howling, Mark Holton from Leprechaun, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Tim Reed from Stephen King's It, Tony Todd from Candyman, right?
The Rock and Final Destination.
Right,
Yeah.
I mean, so many movies. Daniel Roebuck, who we were just talking about earlier. I'm just trying not to miss any. Bob Avian from The Conjuring, Rose from Sleepaway Camp, Dave Sheridan from Scary Movie. We have an absolutely incredible cast of big players in the genre. We're also a few other people we haven't announced, and we will in the coming weeks or months as this film gets ready to come out. So, we're building this little franchise, and we're working on the first film now. And we ran an Indiegogo campaign after we shot the film. We kind of did it right because the COVID-19 pandemic added some extra funds that we didn't initially plan for, like COVID compliance officers and PPE and all on-set safety protocols that, weren't initially in place and required. Right. So, the film is something very exciting, and I think people are going to enjoy it, and I hope they do. And we're really working hard. And the entire crew that worked on Terrifier actually came over, and right after we finished Terrifier 2 and started working on stream, and Damien Leone does all the gore and all the kills.
It's going to be, that means it's going to be really over the top.
Yeah, so we make sure that we deliver. It's kind of like that mix of, our style of, technology with what we're doing, and with Damien's gritty practical effects. I think it makes for a nice movie. So I'm really proud of it so far, and we'll see where it goes.
Marcus was telling me, you guys from The Fuzz on the Lens, and you guys are like a family. Like he told me when you with stream.
Yeah, Marcus is like the uncle no one wants to let in the house when he comes over for.
You guys, I love how you guys are always dissing each other when the other one isn't present. Even when you guys are present, you're dissing each other. No, but he was saying even the people, after they were done working, they came down and they were willing to help who didn't have to be there.
Yeah, after we were done working, a lot of the crew came back. Even actors that on their days off would come, or they were wrapped totally, and they would come to the set and visit and see how everyone's doing. And that's you don't always get that. And we're very fortunate with the people that we work with that it becomes that way. And Abnormal Attraction was a very family-oriented set as well, but it wasn't as close-knit and tight, I think, as the Terrifier and Stream family has gotten to. And it's and a lot of the people are crossovers, but there's just something special with what's going on right now, and I think it's going to translate to the screen.
Have you? Yeah, that's and Dee is great. I'm working on getting her on my show this summer.
Oh, awesome. I just worked with her again on another project.
Really?
I can't talk about because it's someone else's that I helped them when we're producing. And producing it, and I
heard she's in Alaska now.
She might be.
Sorry, I won't say anything anymore.
But yes, I just worked with her again, and she's just incredible. A really sweet woman, and just a lot of fun. She brings a great vibe to the set.
She, when I first met her at Texas Primary 2018. It was 18 or 17. She was we were talking. She's really sweet because her son-in-law has Tourette's, and we were connecting. She's such a sweetheart, such an inspiration, positive person, a beautiful just personality. Great. And Tony Todd is such a character, such a gentleman. And I actually met his sister recently, Monique, who's a real sweetheart. Her husband's also a really great guy. And actually somebody I know said, who's also an actress, said when he offered to pay her bill when she forgot, like he was such a mensch, as we say.
Yeah.
But he's great. He's great. Danielle Harris, an absolute sweetheart, a tough cookie, but a sweetheart. I know the Soskas who worked with her a few times, and she's great. I never met Felissa.
Oh, you'd love her. Felicia's
Yeah,
a party animal. She's a lot of fun, though.
she seems like it.
Yeah, she
Jeffrey,
knows how to have a good time, but she's a
yeah,
great person and really genuine, down to earth.
that's great. No, and she was also in Hatchet. She
Yeah,
she's
she
returned
was.
for Hatchet 4. Oh, Victor Crowley,
Crowley,
aka Hatchet
technically.
4. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she's in
Um,
everything now. Like every movie I see, whether it's indie films or different kinds of horror films, she's like
she's a
Felissa
cameo.
Rose's name is everywhere.
She
So she's
also
working a
she had
lot.
surprise cameo. Like there was like at the end of Dark Offerings, there was a ton of surprise cameos,
Yes.
and I didn't even realize the 9 inch no not 9 inch nails the Ice Nine Kills guy
Yep.
made a cameo. And
Spencer.
I'm like
Yep. Spencer
Tamara,
Chimes.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I had
Yep.
no idea that. Like I
Marcus did a
love
good
those.
job assembling a nice group of people for the film. And it's everything I've heard. It's been really positive, fun feedback, and that's what's great about it, and that's what we wanted to do, especially during these crazy times. It was one of the first films shot during the pandemic, the Dark
Right.
Offerings one, and I was just honored to even be asked to be a part of it.
No, it was a fun movie. It did not go how I thought it would be. And actually it also it's realistic because it's sort of like, I don't know if you ever saw Unfriended, which sort of did that, and really there are some realistic horror elements about betrayal and truths being uh, you know un, you know shown on social media, humiliating, or breaking relationships or friendships. And it's a real life horror thing because it's heartbreaking. And it's like things that should be private were but were released spitefully or vengefully, and it destroys people. And it's almost like it's a real life horror element to that horror film. But that's what made, like somebody said, that's what made Unfriended also a great horror film like Dark Offerings, because it's real life horror, not just cinematic horror. It has that emotional thing, that element that people watching can relate to, or know it happens in real life, whether it be bullying or spiteful, vengeful, hurtful, destructive words that out of anger and hate. So
For sure. I mean, and that's just a testament to Marcus. Marcus Slaybine is a really, really good writer, and I don't like giving him credit for anything, but but he is.
you guys are definitely friends.
Yes, and but I see it. I'm a part of what he's working on now with the. I don't know if I can say it, but there's
Oh,
something
you
else.
said you're Night of the Living Dead too,
Okay, so
right?
yeah, so we're working on Night of the Living Dead 2, and he's been writing it, and we've shot some stuff, and I've firsthand been a part of everything going on with that and seen it, and he's very, very. And you wouldn't expect that, right, from meeting Marcus right off the top, but he's in touch with his inner self and a lot of emotions, and he's able to kind of get that across in a very poetic
Yeah.
way with his dialogue. So he's good. He definitely impresses me with some of the stuff that he does there, and it's interesting. And there's a scene in particular that we shot for Night of the Living Dead 2 with a character that's involved in that series, and it was really a special, great moment. And I can't wait for people to eventually see it because some powerful stuff.
Yeah, though those three returning cast members from Day of the Dead are in it, and though they're different roles, I'm really excited because Day of the Dead, like Marcus, it's my favorite George Romero film.
Awesome, and they're great. They're all great.
Yeah.
And Terry Alexander, actually, I forgot. He's to mention him. He's also in Stream.
Yeah. Oh, he's
And
also in Stream.
he is. He's also in
Yeah.
Stream. And
Because I know Marcus worked with him on The Last Call and Dark Offerings.
yeah, and we have him in
So
Stream as
Stream,
well.
that's
And he's a
great.
part of Night of the Living Dead. And Terry is a great friend and just a really genuine person, and very sweet, sweet, sweet man.
I'm looking forward to meeting. I never met him, but I met a few people. Rhodes, who passed, the one who passed. What's his name? He was really nothing like his character Rhodes in the movie,
Yeah.
but he was such a nice guy. Yeah, and there was a lot of. I think Day of the Dead is probably just one of the darkest, yet also, I don't know, it's just probably my favorite. It really is my favorite Day of George Romero films, and I love that you guys are taking Night of the Living Dead path, but almost like doing like an homage to, but also that's also I want to ask you about stream. I assume there are what's the word? Easter eggs and homages to other possibly the horror films and the franchises of the actors, the
Yeah,
iconic actors.
there are. There's a fine balance between. First of all, this movie it's a horror movie made by horror fans for horror fans.
Yes.
So there's
That was your tagline, I think.
It is right. And I was able to use it right then and there, perfect. But it is, and it's true. And so there's definitely Easter eggs for the fans, the diehard fans that really get the genre and love the genre. But it's a fair balance of trying to say, okay, how can we work this in a way that it makes sense to where it doesn't take away from the story as well? So finding that balance, where you don't want to pull someone out of it, just like, oh, that's a reference to this, and then like you're forgetting about the story at hand.
You want to make it minute, but so noticeable that it's significant to that person, but not that it's like shoving it in your face. It's like quick, but it registers.
Exactly. So we've been balancing that, and I think the real diehard horror fans will be very happy.
Yeah, I could totally see Tony Todd making a bee or a honey or a candy reference. Like, ooh, that's something like it's like that. Like I could totally see that happening. Yeah, we'll saw. Okay, no, yeah. So I also wanted to ask you, regarding Fear Clinic. I haven't watched all the web series, but did you ever get to work with Robert? I mean, not on camera. I mean, you got to hang out with Robert, I'm sure, but did Robert have any I know you were you said you were associate producer or director on the movie
Associate producer,
no.
yeah, associate
Okay. On the show as well, right?
I wasn't on I wasn't associate producer or anything on the show, but it was but I was the Bobby King who does the stunts for the show. He did the stunts for the movie. He does the stunts for Stream. Aaron Drain's great friend. He was the writer on the show, producer on the show, producer on the movie. He was a friend of mine. So there's a lot of just yeah. I never
had geography. I'm just kidding.
Right. I never had seen or worked with Robert one-on-one like that. It was mostly behind the scenes kind of stuff. Hanging out, things like that. I had lunch in his I guess you want to call it trailer or private room a few times during the shooting, so that was fun.
Did the web series have other cameo like guests? Like I haven't seen.
Yeah, it had the web series had Danielle Harris was in it.
Right.
Kane Hodder was involved. So those were like the three big heavy hitters: Robert, Kane, and Danielle. And then it was sprinkled in with a lot of upcoming,
up-and-comers, yeah.
So it was, what's funny is the web series was a totally different concept from the film.
Yes.
And they kind of went a totally different route with it, where even Robert Englund's character was kind of different. Some fans liked that they did that, other fans didn't. I would like to see more in the Fear Clinic.
It was almost like Dark Knight Rises, where like he had to bring himself back to
Exactly. So I'd like to see more from that. Aaron Drain is a great writer as well, and I'd like to see them explore a little more. I don't know if it's going to happen or will happen. I know they had plans at one point, but who knows? But I definitely think there could be more there to be told.
Yeah. Hold on. Brendan says Stream's going to be great. It really is. My grandpa and I are proud Indiegogo backers.
Oh, Brendan, thank you so much. But yes, Brendan and his grandfather are Indiegogo backers. Brendan's going to be coming on set with us for
nice
days of shooting. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're looking forward to having him on board.
That's great.
And met Brendan through a few conventions, and him and his family are just really, really great people and wonderful supporters.
Oh, that's great. What's it called? Also in the Fear Clinic movie, Corey Taylor, Robert gave Corey Taylor his first role, and Corey Taylor's also a big horror fan.
Yeah, I just saw Corey recently in Atlanta at Days of the Dead. We reconnected down there, and Corey,
he's great.
He was involved in Fear Clinic, and he's now doing a bunch of acting. It was his first one, like you said, and now he's doing a bunch of acting gigs and stuff. So it's really cool to see how his career is taking off in that path, in that direction.
Yeah. Well, who was it? Angeline Armani, who at the time I
Angelina Armani.
was
Yep.
married to Robert.
Yeah, and they came to the New York Horror Film Festival, Robert and Angelina, for the screening of Fear Clinic when they.
No, well, I was there for the screening of Fear Clinic.
Yeah,
Robert wasn't there unless he was there a different day than I was.
he might have been there a
It might have
different
been a
day.
different
Yeah,
day.
he came in one of the days he was there. Yeah.
So I just want to tell a quick story. I was rush. I went to that premiere. I basically bought the ticket the day before when Angelina and Robert posted it, and I ended up at the taxi or whatever took me to the wrong theater at the other side of the city. And I like the movie starting soon, and I went to like the top floor of the wrong building, and then rushed down, got another taxi, and I got there, and Robert, I think, and Angelina weren't there yet, but they were really. I had bought a ticket, but it's first come first serve. But there were like 2 seats left, or couple of seats left, and they hadn't. Thankfully, they were late. They didn't start the short films yet. Before they started, probably Chris Rowan said, or maybe it was Adam Torkel said under two of the seats there's a ticket, and if you get that ticket, you will get a free poster signed by the cast. And I had just so happened because I was running late, I sat in one of those seats. I won one of the free posters signed by everybody.
That's
And
cool.
yeah, but Angelina remembered me from Texas Frightmare. But yeah, Robert, it was just great. But that was a fun movie, and also Robert's great in everything, and I'm looking just forward to seeing him in Stranger Things.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. And he's been doing a lot of. I just heard him in a Netflix movie.
Oh yes, someone with the
Choose or
digital
die, or choose or pick or choose.
Choose or Die. Choose or
Yeah.
Die. Yeah, I didn't watch it yet, but it looks
I
like
just saw it. It was interesting.
it was interesting.
Yeah.
But when Robert voices anything or portrays anything, I would watch. Like there are certain actors I love that I know them, but I wouldn't watch all their films. But I guess Robert just has this thing about him that anything he's in, I would watch.
Yeah,
Because he's
Robert's one of those
so
people for me.
yeah.
Tim Curry's another one. I think he's a fantastic actor as well. I mean, if we're talking especially horror, there's just certain people that no matter what, you're going to see it because they're involved, and you want to see what they're gonna, and that's just because they're great, performers, and you want to see what they're going to bring to the table in this new production. So,
Is that one of one of your kids' toys, or is that one of your haunted dolls back there?
you're looking here,
Yeah, I heard a voice.
this
I
right
heard,
here.
I heard something. No, I know also Mazel Tov. You and your wife just recently had your first child.
Yeah, that's probably
I
what you're
meant to
hearing.
start
You're hearing my son
Probably.
in the background.
Yeah, because I see like the woodchuck back there, and I'm like,
That's
is
from
that
Full
him?
House, from the TV show Full House. The old woodchuck
Really?
there, yeah. There's only 3 of them, to my understanding, that were ever made in creation, and one of them, 2 of them, Dave Coulier had. Obviously, one was from Full House, and his dog ate the face. Another one was created by Jimmy Kimmel, I think, no, Jimmy Fallon, and was given to him as a replacement. So there's 2, and here's the 3rd one. That's what I understand. So.
Well, I have something some stuff you might be able to appreciate. So this, hold on a second. That's Monica Keena's jacket from Freddy vs. Jason. That bloody thing on there is from the new Candyman. That's Matis Yahu's from The Possession. That's from the Hellraiser Judgment. That's the Babyface.
I didn't know you were such a collector.
Very
Awesome.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the actual screen worn Candyman outfits. No, well, production worn, because not all. I don't know if you saw the new Candyman.
I haven't yet. I keep going to put it on, and I never get to hitting play.
So there's like, he says, "Oh, Candyman's the whole hive." So that furred jacket up there, that's one of the Candyman that was not shown in the final edit. That's his full outfit. Samuel Evans.
Oh wow!
Full. And I actually have some of Scout Taylor Compton's stuff I got from her directly. Oh, and that's Justin Bieber's bloody shut up outfit from Zoolander 2. Yeah. So I collect a lot of stuff. I've sold a lot of stuff. I've had saw traps. I also collect. Big collector. I used to have. I used to have
glove back there.
Oh yeah, one of and the other one is signed by Robert and Monica. I sold one. I have some guns over there. One of them was used by Scarlett Johansson in the production of Iron Man 2. And I meant to tell Marcus, the Dark Knight Rises stun gun I have back there. I have some other stuff, but it's all over the place. Texas Chainsaw 3D. My friend Dan plays Otherface. I have his hat from the production here, signed by the cast. And that's Alexandra Daddario's birth mother's gravestone from Texas Chainsaw 3D. and Trey Songz's tire that my friend Dan, aka Leatherface, slashed with an actual chainsaw. Those yeah, so I had a saw puppet on here, a Chucky doll. I bought and sell this stuff since 2005. I've had saw traps. I've had, I don't know if you ever saw we were talking Scary Movie 4. I don't know if you've seen. Have you seen Scary Movie? So they were making fun of Saw and
Dr. Phil and
yes,
the basketball
Shaq. Yeah. So towards the end, one of the traps, Greg Bierko had like a crossbow strapped to his ass. Like as a stunt, I had that crossbow trap.
Oh wow!
I bought it for $60.
Wow!
But the shipping was like over 200. But I sold it for about the same, and the shipping was the same.
Yeah.
Because it also didn't work. So I guess like can never really trick a girl into wearing it because it didn't. There's no point. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. But it was just a funny thing because like people recognized it. So like I thought it was hilarious to have.
No, it's cool. You have a great collection all over the room there. That's awesome.
I know. I actually want to. You can't see it from here, but that white lab coat is Samuel Jackson's from a Jurassic Park skit he did. It has the logo on there and everything. So yeah, I've had more than this in the past. Where the point where I had room for one nightstand, but not two nightstands. You know me, I love those puns. But is there any? Okay. So before I know we're nearing an hour. I want you to. Is there anything else you want to bring up about Stream? Any? I want you to. Well, obviously, I'm going to ask you to bring up your sites, your social media, anything. But any way people can follow updates, or if in case they want to support, or when they're interested in any news, or where they can sign up for a newsletter information about whether it be Stream or any of your upcoming movies and productions.
Sure, yeah. So if you're looking just in general, you can find us everywhere on all social medias at Fuzz on the Lens. And the handle is always at Fuzz on the Lens. And you'll find us whether it's Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or Twitter. And if you're looking for anything specific, more, horror stuff, Stream for sure, at Stream Franchise. And you can find that on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter as well. Fuzz on the Lens Fuzz on the Lens YouTube is something where you can see a lot of videos and behind the scenes and things like that for a lot of our different productions. But right now it's very Stream oriented. And if anybody's looking to jump on board, we're actually still running the Indiegogo campaign. It's on demand right now. We're going to be pulling a lot of things back because, we're winding down. We're getting ready to shoot some of the remaining scenes and, start shipping perks and getting things ready and getting things in order. But we still have it up for now. So if anybody's looking to jump on board last minute and kind of help us get this thing to the finish line and also be a part of hopefully horror history, it's definitely something that you can check out, that we have some really amazing,
a lot of great perks.
Yeah, we have some cool perks up there. So you can find that on Indiegogo and search Stream or Stream the Movie. And for me personally, you could just look at Michael Leavy, but, at Levis Island on Instagram. But again, if you go through Fuzz on the Lens, you'll find me. Definitely find me through there. You can check out our website as well, fuzzonthelens.com. And we just started a podcast, Fuzz on the Mic, and you can listen.
I saw that.
You can listen to it where all podcasts are heard. So Fuzz on the Mic, and we have some really interesting, thought-provoking discussions.
That's great. I just want to bring up, because I have it behind us, the banner. Here's a tease of some of the names of some of the actors who are going to be in it, and it looks really intriguing. And like the cast is just an all-star horror, like they're all icons.
They are, and someone who's on there that most people don't know yet, but they will, is Charles Edwin Powell. He plays Roy Keenan, our lead protagonist, and he's from a lot of films actually, but Exorcist 3 and
I love that.
Yeah. He's an incredible actor, Charlie, and I think people are really going to love him in this film. They're really going to relate to him. They're really going to root for Charlie and his family, and he just brings such a realism and such a heart to the movie. He really is the heart and soul of Stream, and I can't wait for everybody to see. Listen, everybody's great. We love the Jeffrey Combs and the Danielle Harris, the Tony Todds and stuff, and they really deliver. But I think people are really, really going to latch on to Charlie, and I can't wait for them to see his performance.
Yeah, Exorcist 3 is probably one of my favorite horror sequels ever. Like, I think it's one of the most underappreciated, but like, I think it's one of the greatest horror mystery thrillers. It's like a crime horror film, and it's beautifully done. Who did he play? Who did Charles Edward Powell play in Exorcist 3?
I would be, remiss to tell you, I can't ever remember the name of the character, so I don't want to get it wrong. I could try to look it up quickly for you.
You don't have to rush. I know, you got your kid to get to tend to soon, but,
Yeah,
worry about your kid, not me.
I'm so bad. I'm so bad with remembering character names. Like I just know them by their real name. I'm so bad with
Yes,
knowing
agreed.
anybody's names either way. Like it's like if I know your name, it's good. It's a good thing because
I'm better with celebrities' names. I'm with my own friends'
I know.
names.
So I know people's faces. I'm a very visual person, and if I
Same.
see them, I say yes. I remember where we met, what we talked about, where we were, what year it was. But for some reason, names are very very tough for me to get. Right, Jonathan?
So wait, if you met Leatherface and he was wearing one of your friends' faces, you'll still recognize him, I'd hope.
Right at that point, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I thought you'd get a kick out of that game.
No, that was good. That was good. Yeah, I call that uh amnesia and deja vu at the same time. I've forgotten this before, or deja vu. I've heard this shit before.
Right,
Something like
right,
that.
right.
I love those plan words. But hopefully I'll see you at Monster Mania again this August, as I like to say.
Yeah, hopefully
Um,
we're gonna be. I'm gonna be doing some of the. I've been taking a break from the convention circuit.
mhm. It was good to see
Obviously,
you back in
yeah,
March. It
getting
really
back
was.
into it, and now, and
You're fun when you're drunk.
so I've been told. So yeah, I'm gonna be at which one am I gonna be at? There's like a couple of them coming up. I'm trying to remember the most recent one that's happening. There's one in New Hampshire. I'm gonna be at um, in October, and I'm gonna be doing the horror show side market one. It's a 1 day convention, May
Right.
14th in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
I
That's
saw
the
yeah, I saw somebody post that. I was told I should go to New Jersey HorrorCon, which is by Mark, which is such
oh
a
New
big.
Jersey horror.
I've never been there, but I
You
told
gotta go. You
yeah,
gotta go.
Chris
It's one of our
Chris
favorites.
Chris Rowan told me it's like I love it. It's one of the
It's in
best.
Atlantic City, and you
I
can't
have
go
to
wrong
go.
there. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of reunions. I mean, that's one. It's a staple. We go there all the time.
Wait,
We
it's
have
in
a
New
bunch of
York.
shows.
Atlantic City is Jersey or New York?
Jersey, Jersey.
See, I'm living proof men are bad at directions, so that's
Right. Yeah, South Jersey, but not too far. It's in the Showboat Hotel and Casino there, and
really.
nice little plug for them. But yeah, it's
Scout has done that a lot of times.
yeah,
She's done
Scout's
that a
done
lot.
it. Tyler Maine's done it. Felissa Rose does every show there for
Yeah.
them. Dave
That's
Sheridan's been
like
doing a lot
Kane
of
for
shows.
Monster Mania and Texas Frightmare.
Yeah,
Kane's
yeah.
at every single one.
Exactly. So they have their returns, but it's a really great time. They have a great karaoke night on the Saturday night, so it's always a great time at the New Jersey Horror Con.
That sounds great. When is the next one? Do you know offhand? I gotta check it out.
It's probably
That's
there's
twice a
usually like
year.
one in May. There's a classic rewind one that they're doing, but probably if it's not in May or June, it's going to be September for sure.
Right. I think somebody told me September. Somebody
Yeah,
told me
so if it's
September.
not then, it's
There's one
definitely. I
happened
think they do it
recently.
September and March is when they do it. I think.
Right. It would
Because
happen
they run on
recently.
there too, and
So.
then they have that classic rewind. But then it's the same group that runs the PA Horror Con and
Right.
the horror
Which also I
sideshow.
want to go to.
Yeah,
I
so
also wanna
it's
go
a
to.
smaller version, but the horror sideshow market that I'm doing May 14th, it's the same group of people that run those shows. So definitely they
Where
have a
is that one? The side
Allentown,
market.
Allentown.
All right, pencil. Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're both. I think the PA Horror Con and the Sideshow Market are both there. They just run at different times of the year. So I've never done the Sideshow Market before. A couple of times I was asked to do it, wasn't able to with shooting schedules, but finally able to make it to this
Are
one.
you going for a work to promote, or are you just going there to
They
go?
have me as a guest, one of the guests.
Really?
Doing like a little
Right, because I know
Terrifier.
you guys you sometimes do that, and
Yeah, they have us as a
I
little
haven't seen you do that in
Terrifier.
a while. That's
Yeah,
great.
little Terrifier reunion that they're doing with
I saw the girls post.
David and Damien, myself and
Yes.
Jason and some of the girls. So yeah, it should be fun.
David and Damien posted, right, I remember now. Yeah, I'm
Should be
looking
fun.
for yeah, I'm sorry I'm gonna miss it, but hopefully, if I don't see you before August, hopefully I'll see you in September. I've gotta go to the New Jersey Horror Con. I trust all you got your recommendations on this stuff because you know how it is. You know how the fun ones, you know which ones are worth the
Yeah,
trip, not just the time, but the trip.
yeah, yeah. It's true, and the group of people that you're going to see there as well, and
Yeah.
the fans, and the vendors and stuff, and
It's a
just
family, it really
yeah.
is. You like, that's great about these horror conventions, even if you're not a horror fan, people just make friends online, they make friends with random people just talking to them. It's a sociable
Oh
gold
yeah.
mine. It's
You
just
have
stuff
your
like
you have your group of people that you see at conventions, and you're going to see them there all the time, and you just you
you
kind of
make new
catch up.
friends out of
Yeah,
nowhere. You
it's
just
a good experience for sure, and I'm glad that they do these things.
I just wanna mention when I was younger, my mother would take me to these things when I didn't have somebody to go with, and I'd see these people tattooed from head to toe and pierced in leather and S&M get up, and they're the nicest, most courteous people, and people think, "Oh, they dress this way, they must be," but that's not the way it is, but obviously, that's not everybody who goes, but you think people think, "Oh, if they dress this way, they must," but, like,
I
it's like
know.
my friends would tell people about, "Oh, this guy, he loves sawing horror movies," like, "Oh, he must be sadistic," and, like, how is he so nice? He's into the sick stuff and he's this nice. That's so weird. Like, is
Yeah.
he I thought he'd be a serial killer or something. Like, it's like,
I
people
know it's
assume,
totally different. It's the same. Damien makes these crazy movies, right, with guts and blood and all this,
and
but
he is the
he's the
chillest
nicest
guy.
person, and he also hates the sight of blood, real blood. He gets squeamish. So I sit here and say, "You mutilate people." He goes, "Yeah, but it's fake."
Can I tell you something? I could watch the goriest horror films and not necessarily get grossed out. I cut my finger and I get nauseous.
Yeah,
I real life horror for me is not even sight of blood, it's the news, it's
yeah,
stories of innocents getting killed, heart shootings, all that stuff scares me more than horror.
yeah.
There's a documentary I think you should totally check out, it's called Nightmares in Red, Wine, and Blue. If you haven't seen it, it's on Amazon. They interview John Carpenter, but Lance Hendrickson narrates it. So it talks about like how horror evolves and it's affected by real life events, horror, war, and all that stuff. But it's for the stuff. I mean, you probably know half this stuff, but it's just a really interesting study of horror cinema dating back over a century ago to when it's the silent era, which and I would rewatch it just because I love educational stuff for cinema, whether it be technical stuff I could learn from because I do video editing, photography, videography. So I like to learn stuff regarding that, but I also like to learn stuff about cinematic history, and it's just a beneficial. It's interesting. I always appreciate historic, from the technical study of it to the historic. Just I always appreciate and enjoy that stuff. But Michael, I know you have a kid to take care of, and your wife's gonna kill not just you, but probably me if I don't let you go soon. I know the drill. Listen, my wife and I decide not to have children. The kids are taking it really hard. I'm just kidding. I said I got a call from the school. School saying my son's been lying and he got expelled. I said I don't have a son. The kid's a really good liar.
Yeah.
Anyway, let you go, dude. Been a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
We'll touch base soon. I cannot wait for Stream or and Terrifier 2 and Night of the Living Dead 2. It's a lot of exciting stuff is coming up, and hopefully I'll see you soon, man.
Yes,
And
great. Thank you so much for
it's been
having
a
me on,
pleasure.
Gabe. It's been a pleasure. It's been a great evening chatting with you, and looking forward to everything you're doing, and of course to see you on the flip side at the convention. It's going to be a lot of fun, man.
It's gonna be a fun, man. And I actually got to talk more with you about something, but I'll touch base in the next couple of days, man.
All
Okay?
right. Sounds good, man.
Peace out, bro.
Good night.
All the best. You too.